5 seconds seems like a super long time, but welcome back, people, to another episode of the Rundown with Lou. Last week, we couldn't do it because we had to watch two grown men yell at each other and call each other stupid over national television. I was thoroughly entertained by that, and I figured there's no way I could beat whatever they were doing there. But this week, I got some more panelists, more than normal, as we cut it down from the usual 5 topics to just 4 topics. And let me quickly introduce my people on this one today. First, I have the drunk geek, Mr. Anthony Wiggins. What's going on, Ant?
Good. It's good. I got enough. Go to the next one.
Next up, I have Mr. Earth 2 himself, Mo Crosby. What's going on, sir?
How's it going, sir? I'm ready for this.
Yeah, you say that now, Motar, but we'll see. We'll see.
See, I don't like when you do that.
That's your mama named you Motar. I'm gonna call you Motar. Next up, I have. What? See what I mean? Already, you people don't follow instructions.
I mean,
next up, we have 1/3 of the Black Geeks, Mr. Chris Powell. What's going on, sir?
Well, nothing much, just a Tuesday. I thought it was Wednesday. That's how long of a day it was today. So,
and last but not least, Mr. Gold Belt himself, Najir. What's going on, sir?
Short and sweet, pretty good. Let's get to it.
Cool.
He said short and sweet.
Our very first topic. This past week, we had some heartbreaking news that one of the greatest humans ever, and I mean ever, put on the face of the earth contracted the COVID-19, aka the Chinese flu. Our president, Donald Trump,
Tom Hanks?
COVID-19. No,
hey Lou, you might as well go on ahead and play the. You might as well go ahead and just play the Sarah McLachlan song.
Oh my God!
We are not talking about Tom Hanks. We are talking about the great Donald Trump.
Oh my
now,
goodness.
Gentlemen, no, it's so many ways I can attack this subject, but first, I want you all, before you answer, to give your best wishes to the president on his recovery, speedy recovery, almost Jesus-like recovery from the COVID-19 virus. And then the biggest question is, do you all feel the way he's currently handling having COVID-19 is necessary for his political position? And I'm gonna start first with Mr. Crosby.
Wow. Why you gotta start with me? No, I don't think. Oh Jesus, I don't like that he started with me. But no, I don't like the way he's handling his contraction of the disease or his handling of his personal experience with COVID. I think it's funny. And I'll say this, right? Because Donald Trump is an entertainer, and this is another thing for him to entertain his base with, and this is something else for him to push a narrative with. And I think he's going to go as hard as possible on pushing a narrative, on getting his base riled up. I mean, you said it. Jesus, it's damn near miraculous what's happening with him and COVID. But we also have to look at the fact that he is the president, and he will get the best care possible, more than what a lot of people who have had this same virus have ever gotten. So I think there's a little bit of unfairness with it, but I don't like his handling of it because his fans, his base, they'll take it as something as it shouldn't be. We're gonna see a lot of in the future people, like just doing whatever they want to do because they think this is how you're supposed to do it, or this is how you're supposed to handle it when it comes to this. I don't think I think the people that already didn't respect COVID will further move along to not respect it at all. So it's just very weird. It's very weird. I think it's the funniest thing to watch.
Miraculous is the word that you're looking for.
There we go.
Miraculous.
That's not the word I'm looking for.
It's
but
very Lazarus-like. That's what I'm going to say.
bruh,
But
Lazarus come forth. Like what?
next up, Ant, what are your views on the way the president is handling his diagnosis?
Well, first off, I gotta let you know, 45 gets the 19. That seems a little wrong to me. This is why we need disclaimers. I don't think that's so I think he's gonna milk this. I think it's really interesting. On a few conservative sites that I'm on that I pretend to be a conservative on, I realize the narrative has changed about masks and stuff like that. I'm on a couple of like groups that are for cops and a couple of groups that are like for white conservatives, and they don't know that I'm black and don't really agree with them, so I kind of troll them a little bit. But it's also really good in understanding how everybody else thinks. So anyway, I think he's gonna milk it. I think there's something fishy here, but I really can't see it yet. And I don't know whether this is a way to change the narrative in a way or control the narrative in some way. I think he really got it. I just think I'm missing a piece. I'm not explaining this right. I think I'm missing a piece of something. Does anyone else feel like there's something else going on that I'm not sure what it is? No, I'm the only thing. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, it's just you, sir.
Look here, you will not badmouth my president and his COVID-19 diagnosis and his miraculous recovery. That's what you won't do.
I'm glad he got it. I'm glad he said he got it. I'm glad his family got it. I'm really glad. So this is the thing. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people who weren't taking this seriously and were taking his words verbatim of like not wearing masks, going to rally. Then now,
when you pay
at least they're having a conversation. They're having weird conversations about it. But okay.
That was Trump cutting off your audio because you are up here talking real disrespectful right now. And we're gonna move on from you, Mr. I'm gonna have to move on from you, Mr. Wiggins, because I'm feeling hated against by the way you're talking about my president. So, Chris, what are your views on the way 45 is handling the Rona?
You know, I ask the bare minimum of anybody, whether you're a Republican or Democrat, competency. That's all I ask. That's all I ask.
Sure and sweet.
Like, if he never said it was a hoax, I mean, look, I've never been one to wish anybody well. Like, whatever the dice rolls, that's where it rolls. That's how it rolls, right?
Did you mistakenly mean to say I've never meant to wish anybody bad?
No. What? I'm not the type of person who wishes harm on somebody, right? That's what I'm going to say. Sorry. What I'm saying is, to me, the way I played the whole thing with him contracting COVID is whatever the dice rolls, that's what the dice rolls, right? I feel with him doing this thing with the hospital thing, it's him putting on this front to kind of bolster his base to think that group of people that think it's fake. So it's playing into those people, and I've seen plenty of people that think it's fake and they're eating it up. Mm-hmm. And that's why I say if I was in his position, yeah, you do that to bolster up those type of people because you can get those people that are gullible and stuff. I think in the long run it's going to bite him in the ass, And again, I don't want that to happen, but it's like it's going to probably happen because, like I said, I got right now. And I'm not trying to make it sad. My grandmother's in the hospital for COVID, and she's in the same boat as him, can barely breathe and all that stuff. And when I see him out there not barely breathing and stuff, it's like, I don't know, man. Like, you sure it's worth it? Like, and that's where the cause of concern for me is. It's like, I don't think it's worth it, man. Like, what are you doing? Like, So it's like, I can go for the jokes because trust me, the jokes about it is fucking hilarious. But it's like, I don't think this is a smart move. Like, even like anybody can tell you it's not a smart move. And just the fact that the rest of his cabinet got it, it's like, oh shit. Like, yeah, that's pretty bad. Pretty bad. So that's my take on it.
Major, what are your thoughts on the president contracting COVID-19?
I need my good friends, Trey Parker, and I forget the other dude name.
Matt Stone,
thank you. I need you all to get back to work.
Friends.
I need my good friends over at South Park to get ready to drop that pandemic special part 2. I need every bit of everything that's happening right now on their turf. Like, you can't even make the shit up that's happening within the last like 2 weeks in the Oval Office. But as far as him, like Chris took the point I was gonna say. Like, all jokes aside, like seeing him come out and basically acting like he's breathing like outside of the Earth atmosphere, but on Earth, I got huge concerns here. Like, and like he's such a beacon of like attention that when he came out and was standing there, and you can tell like he was having a severe asthma attack, but was trying to pretend like he didn't need his inhaler. I'm like, dude, for what? Like, get yourself together. Like, you're good. Like, you got the best medical staff in the entire world that's going to cater to you, and you coming out to do a photo op? Dude. And he's back to Twitter. So anyway, apparently we're not going to be getting those stimulus checks unless he's wins. So like a lot of things are happening coming from that guy right now. But
if he dies, he dies.
As far as your answer, like the way he's handling it, I just don't see the point.
You know what's funny? It's funny because Anthony has my thoughts, but I think I was trying to be more diplomatic with it. I'm right with Anthony on that last statement he made. That's the end of that. Sorry, Lou.
We're going to cut Ant's mic for disrespecting my president. Okay, that's what I'm going to do here. But in all seriousness, the only issue I've had so far with his diagnosis, because it was bound to happen, so it was going to happen no matter what. At this point, we kind of figured that part out. I just don't want normal, everyday people to believe that they can go about it the way he's going about it if they get diagnosed with the virus. Understand, he has superhuman medical care that no one else will ever get.
Well, unless you're rich.
That's what I'm saying. He's not in the same boat as you.
Not even
if you're rich.
Magic Johnson got HIV and still kicking. He rich.
Well,
I'm just saying.
Chris, it's a lot of people with HIV that's still kicking. But what I'm saying about him contracting the virus is, again, it's certain he's set up with certain protections that no one else will be.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to take it that seriously. I understand if you want to be a Republican and you want to believe everything he says, that's great. Understand, though, his medical care will not equal your medical care.
By no
very
metric.
Careful of thinking that this is a joke. It's not a joke. Yes, he has this virus. Yes, he's up there struggling to breathe like I do if I go hiking without my inhaler. Yes, he's doing all of this. But it's more important. It's more important that we take care of ourselves. Understand, once you contract it, sit your ass down. There's no doubt about it. Do not be taking photo ops, deciding to get in the cars and go around and waving at random people. But again, as the president and in the situation he's in, I understand why he did it. Fully understand why he did it. But that doesn't make it okay that it was done. Speaking of things not being okay that has been done.
Oh, that was diplomatic.
I know, wasn't it? I'm very diplomatic. I'm a Republican, with respect. Speaking of things, working themselves
specify
out.
that, sir. Black Republican, but yeah.
I'm pretty sure I'm black. I don't think I need to specify my color.
I mean, let's be real. We have to specify this because there's always a stigma of Republicans being racist, and I'm like, Lucas is not racist.
I'm not racist at all. Not a racist bone in my body.
You can be black and racist.
Shut up.
Though.
Hey, cut his mic, please. Cut his mic. I thought he was going to say something else real quick. But speaking of things going downhill this week, Regal Cinema announced that they will be cutting all theaters, all showings in the US and the UK due to no entertainment coming out. 2 weeks ago, it was announced that James Bond will be delaying their highly anticipated movie until 2021. Right around that time, we also had Disney saying that they would delay all of their movies. We have Warner Brothers delaying all of their movies. So, gentlemen, at this point with Regal Cinemas, do you believe this is a smart move to shut everything down until they get entertainment? Or should they have attempted, like AMC is doing, push through, knowing that you're still going to get some kind of profit out of this whole situation? And I'm going to start off first with Mr. Powell.
I actually thought Regal was actually doing the same thing as AMC, because if I remember correctly, weren't they part of that whole push to do like limited attendance for their theaters for their showings?
Yes,
Yeah,
all
okay,
of them are doing
so
the same thing.
um, I'm only assuming that the movie studios are doing this because they want to maximize profits to a degree, which I think I get it, but at the same time, it feels like you're chasing something that's not going to really happen until the general public as a whole feels safe, unless you live in a country overseas, which we're seeing a lot of those movies do very well overseas, and they got COVID under control to a degree, so people are comfortable over there. But here, we're not comfortable, unfortunately. Yes, there are some people that are bold enough to go to theater. When I was driving around, I think it was after we saw Tenet early.
Yeah.
I actually drove past Hoffman, and there were people that was going to the theaters. It wasn't in a lot, but I saw a lot of people over in that area where the Hoffman was doing whatever and stuff. And I don't know. I get why Regal is doing it, and I think a lot of people mistook it as Regal is done in the United States. This is apparently only temporary. So I get it. You're closing up shop because movie theaters aren't giving you any sort of content. So I mean, why keep it open? Because I mean, what, Tenet's the only movie that they're showing in theaters at this point?
Well, to be fair, Amari Hardwick's Spell is coming out.
I am getting that shit. I am getting that on a screener. I will not step foot in the movie in the theater for that damn movie. Nah.
Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead,
but lastly, though, I do feel it is an untapped market. I know you said there's not a lot of money in it, and I get it. Like, take a gamble on limited screenings for like drive-in theaters. Just see what happens. No harm, no foul. But that's just me. But I get it. So, yeah.
So, Najir, what are your thoughts behind Regal shutting down business for it looks like the remainder of 2020?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I will not pretend like I understand the ramifications of this totally. So a little ignorantly speaking, as a fan that goes to theaters, obviously it's unfortunate for all of us, despite if we want to go or not. But you just look at this, and you're thinking they're closed, and you think like, well, this is forever. So I kind of go to the idea of thinking that this is just a way to really salvage some money for the rest of the year. The big thing is that this moves come at the height of things being moved, like you said. And if they're not showing anything that's going to, generate any revenue, then what are they actually doing? I mean, they got to pay their staff. They've got to pay them probably extra now, or not extra like as far as giving them raises, but more people now because you got probably more protocols into play. Mm-hmm. But if you're having a smaller capacity, a smaller showing, but more people, it just doesn't make sense business wise. So. Hopefully they can regroup and get back on track for 2021 when everything seems to maybe find some normal. But like when I seen it, it's like sad, but at the same time it's like this is the reality of 2020. Like a lot of things are having to come up with new business plans and metrics. Some are able to weather the storm. Some are completely done. So we'll see what Regal ends up doing. If it comes down to it, and Regal just is completely done, I feel like Regal's going to pull a Circus City and become H.H. Gregg, and then all of a sudden become Circus City again. And it's like, hey, forget all those memberships that you had and those extended warranties. Those are all gone because Circus City's gone. But H.H. Gregg, which is going to take over every single location of it. Oh, wait, where did H.H. Gregg go? Oh, Circus City's back, if you didn't know. So, we've seen stuff like that with like Radio Shack and other stores kind of, and even Toys R Us now is even kind of trying to make a comeback. So, if it comes down to it, is like at some point there's always going to be a need and a desire for the cinema business, and AMC is not going to be the only one. Somebody else is going to rise. So I expect Regal to bounce back by 2021.
And what are your thoughts on this subject, sir?
First, I'm happy that Toys R Us is coming back. I don't know why, but give me joy inside. I think that I don't know. I think everything you said makes business sense. Nobody's going to the theaters right now, and really. Are you going to feel comfortable as a parent taking your kids to a family movie or the latest kids movie or anything like that right now? You're not, and you still got to pay all those employees. Some people got health insurance. It just doesn't make sense, and the maintenance cost. So I mean, they closed down. If this industry is going to survive, um, somebody else will come take its place. If there's a hole in the market, someone will come to fill it. But honestly, like I said before, and other things we talked about, I think this is movie theaters are something cultural we do, but we don't really need to do. Like, I don't really miss the theaters. I miss going to movies with y'all, like going to movies with y'all in person.
Mhm.
But I don't really miss going to the theater. We have to waste 2 hours driving driving there, getting popcorn that you could get a steak for what you get a popcorn for. Sit down in an unclean theater, and and sit there and watch. Hey, we could do that at home. We could video stream and do a video. I think that finally we're gonna have to really consider as a culture whether we want to keep movie theaters as a thing, especially like a year-round thing, or if we want to just switch to our own home theaters, which a lot of times are a more enjoyable experience, if I'm gonna be honest. But I'm also getting old, so it could be that. Yeah.
I'm assuming because it's a tad bit that you're getting old, but that's perfectly fine. It's understandable that because you're getting old, you feel that way. Now I'm gonna close this out with Mr. Crosby because it's his governor's fault that Regal closed.
Listen, don't
Kumo,
put that evil on me. Don't put that evil on me.
He would prefer to open up gyms and have people sweating around each other than a movie theater. So Mo,
gyms are open at 25%. Okay, gyms
and
are open
they're clean.
at 25%.
They're clean.
And they're way cleaner.
I'm not going to say that at all. Not remotely close to it. But Mo, what are your thoughts on Regal shutting down shop until 2020?
You got to stop the bleeding at some point because I'm pretty sure you know hazard pay is something that everybody who's operating now has to pay either upfront or somewhere at the back of this. So you're looking at all your operating costs. For the rest of 2021, is it really important for you to? I'm sorry, for the rest of 2020, and you're saying to yourself, is it really important to keep going to keep all this going right now? And you're saying it's really not, because there's nothing anyone wants to see. Like if this was the year of all the major blockbusters are either saying, oh, we're pushing back to next year because Tenet came out and we saw what happened with Tenet. I mean, Tenet made money or is making money, but it's Warner Brothers had to push certain things back so Tenet could get playing time. And if you're Disney looking at that, or was it who owns James Bond right now? I know it's MGM, right?
MGM.
Yeah. So if you're MGM looking, because I think at one point Sony had it, but if you're MGM looking at it right now, you're saying, this is like our big ticket right now, and we need all the monies back from this. So let's if we open now, it's not going to happen. Especially again, New York is a big market. It's one of your bigger markets. New York, LA, I think. DC? No, right?
LA.
And no, Texas. Texas. Texas
is a huge market for them.
Yeah. So if one of your big markets, one of your big money markets, is deciding not to open, I think it makes sense for you to look at your money and say, hey, look, that word tripped me out. To look at all of that and say, look, the profits right now outweigh us being the good guys, because I will be the bad guy for the rest of 2020 and say, no, I'm okay. Go home. There are other movies you can watch at home. There are other movies that are available on VOD, but Disney said no Marvel. This is the first year without a Marvel movie. Warner Brothers tried their hand with Tenet and they saw they couldn't save the movies. At least in the United States, in China and other parts of the world where they kind of have a handle on this, people are watching this. Yeah, so because again, right as of last year, the United States was still number one in the movie as a box office runner, right? China was up and coming. China's number two is a really close number two.
Sounded like a lot like Trump right there, huh? So US number one, right? China, bad China number two. Go ahead though. Go ahead, finish. I'll let you finish your thought before I interrupt you again, sir. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
What I was saying actually was, as of last year, the United States was the number one box office runner, and China was a close number two. China happens to have a handle on COVID, and everyone is opening movies in China and making money, or people are not everyone. People are opening movies in China and making money. I'm just saying right now, right? It makes sense. I'm not mad at them doing it. If there's anyone who wants to be angry at Regal for shutting down, I honestly don't understand why you would be. Because if you ran a business, you would understand where they're coming from in that sense. And that's it. I'm okay with it. I'm fine with it.
Well, let me just counter you real quick. Most people don't run businesses, so they wouldn't be okay
was-
with
I
anything.
I was just
would
gonna
have to slice
say,
it.
people put their personal feelings in front of everything, then they just
Right.
get completely oblivious about what makes sense. You know,
Yeah, because it doesn't make any sense for Regal to be operating without any major returns.
Okay, now I'll close this out. The most important thing to me is the point that we have X amount of workers who are now going to be unemployed. That's the most important part. Now, I understand no product is coming out, and with no product coming out, it is hard to keep your doors open. But we, as a community, need to look at and wonder what's going to happen to the thousands upon thousands of workers who are going to end up losing their job because of this decision. While we understand it, we also got to understand why some people are going to be upset about it, and a lot of it could be because of the jobs lost during it. But the blame should not be placed at Regal. The blame should be placed at the studios who have decided to hold up all their product until a more favorable year for them, which means a possibly more profitable year for them.
Well, that makes sense.
Literally waiting for somebody to dispute.
You're waiting for someone.
Yeah,
but you do make a great point. I'm just saying this.
I didn't want you to dispute it though. I thought somebody else would because you talk too much. But
eat shit. All right.
No, I think what you're saying.
Nah, but I
think you're saying is right. But as a nation, we didn't really prepare for this. Like, so if you're
nobody
if you're
was
Canada,
ready for it.
But if you're Canada, you're okay. If you're Canadian and this happened to you working at Regal, you're probably okay. If you're
Trump
American,
don't want you talking about Canada.
Screwed. And
he keeps cutting you off.
Well, you know, I don't know, but I think you're right, and I think like if you're Pizza Hut and you can't get dough, you can't make pizzas, and that's essentially where we're at right now. So being mad at, I think we have humans have a habit of attacking what they can see, right? So it's Regal, this corporation, we're gonna attack that. How dare they? And it's not. They're like they got to worry about their investors. They got to worry about they got to worry about trying to reopen or stay open next year. You know, they can't just worry about today, right? So I don't know. I think everything you said was right, and you know, it's a sad situation because even the studios, they have investors. They have you know, millions upon millions they put into these films. They have to worry about getting the maximum profit from a film so they can make the next film and the next film and the next film and pay these stars and pay these special effects and things like that. The model might need to change for a while. We might need to go back to smaller budget films for a while so you can have content, and maybe that'll get us better writing, but that's my own personal thing.
Oh, Lord.
Now, speaking of better content and better writing, this past week, Mr. Tory Lanez dropped his new album that tore the streets to pieces called Daystar, as he badmouthed every person who attacked him for shooting Megan Thee Stallion in her foot, including Megan Thee Stallion herself.
Bro.
So, gentlemen, I'm going to ask, how bad of a move was this for Tory to even consider dropping this album? I got you first, Chris. Go ahead.
Reading the room is a fucking thing. Like, let's go with the logic. Let's just go with the logic that he had aside to the story, right? It's probably not wise to sit there and like badmouth everybody that's like popping off at you. I get you gotta tell your story, but there's a way of telling your side without looking like an asshole. And I think that's the big issue with it and stuff. Like, I don't hate Tory Lanez. Personally, I don't have any stake in what he does and stuff, but like everything, and again, this is not like, oh, I believe Meg over him. It's just like the way she talked about it and the way he's talking about it, like you apologize to the chick afterwards, and then now you're kind of recanting it, and it's like, okay, now I'm confused, dude. Like, you did apologize to her, but why? It's all confusing to me, and it's like it's not making it. He's not really stating his case in a way that's making me care that's why when I saw the video, I was like, whatever. I don't care. Do whatever you want to do, Tory Lanez, but it's not looking good.
But he's
for you,
answering back over a hot beat, Chris. Like that, we got to factor that in.
Hey, look, man. Hey, look, we all were there during the R. Kelly shit and whatever you felt at that time. Before
R. Kelly.
No. Let me finish. Let me finish.
Chris, say it.
No, finish. Before surviving R. Kelly and stuff, if you remember all the way back to the remixes of Ignition and stuff, and there were a lot of people sitting up there saying, I don't know if you fucked that 13-year-old girl, even though the girl was fucking 13 in the goddamn video and stuff. Nobody cared. Boondocks made fun of that shit and everybody yucked it up, but I was like, the show.
And they still didn't care.
They didn't care. So it's like in this case, I think Tory Lanez is playing off that, like, oh, nobody's going to care about Meg, so fuck it, I'm going to do this. Then I'm like, well, the internet's a little different now, man. You can't get away with that shit now. So
before I go to the next person, all I'm going to say is it's still the remix to Ignition in my
Oh my God.
What are your thoughts on Mr. Tory Lanez?
Don't worry, Lou. Don't worry, Lou. Every once in a while I play Fiesta.
See? I said you can't help it. He's a genius. Tory Lanez isn't. But go ahead, AJ. What are your thoughts on this?
I was like, who goes it? Okay, let's just be honest. Tory Lanez really wants to be Drake. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And what I mean by that is completely what happened with Drake this week. Drake was on the new 21 Savage mixtape, which is fire. And he said something about him dating SZA. So the internet did what they did, and they was like, whoa, you were dating SZA when she was 17 and you were 21? So, by the way, no one's mad at Drake for real. Drake's career goes on. And Tory thought, after everything that happened and he pretty much got his hands washed up, he said, well, I'm just going to monopolize off of it because this is what anybody else would do. And he thought it was going to be a key to success, and I think it backfired like no other. Without a doubt, Tory always has good beats. But like this did nothing for his career. And Machine Gun Kelly had a lot to say with that too, as Machine Gun Kelly CD came out of the woodworks and washed them for that number one spot. So Tory Lanez is taking L's left and right. And by the way, what Uncle Snoop said, it was in poor taste for him to drop that CD in the height of the Breonna Taylor case and trying to draw attention away from that. Now, although I don't supremely agree with the correlation of that, at the same time too, that also didn't help Tory for any reason. So it just wasn't a good move at all. Like regardless of how good the CD potentially could be, nothing about the release date and the strategizing for marketing worked here. He's gonna have to come original and stop trying to like take paths like other people have done to kind of make his success. So by the way, the real king of R&B, Jacquees, you see how he took his own way?
Oh, yeah, you cut your own mic now. You cut your own mic.
Hey, but look, the ideal is that Jacquees took his own way in trying to grow his popularity, and Tory Lanez, I think, continues to just try to follow suit what other people have done before him, and it's just not working for him. And I think this is another indication of him trying to drop a CD during a trendy time, a response to everything that's happening, as if it was supposed to like rocket ship his career, and it didn't. It completely didn't. So, bad choice of decision making here by that guy.
So, Mr. Wiggins, I know you don't particularly care about any of these artists.
My last name out there? You know I got enemies.
What are your thoughts on two artists that I know you don't really care much about?
Yeah, I was about to say I don't know much about this. I know he shot her. Apparently, I don't know, but this is what I would say.
Oh my goodness.
I think that this is not a new thing. It doesn't matter if it's good publicity or bad publicity. Are you talking about him, right? Who's talking about him this week? And I don't even know if I've ever heard of a song of his before, but I know his name now. So it's doing something. And you can turn bad publicity into making money. What they're going to do? They're going to exploit their thing. I think I think this new generation, these young people need to learn that you need to stop snitching on yourself on your album. Like I think did they get past that? Did we get past that in the 90s? No, we're still snitching on ourselves. Okay, no.
Well, Drake just caught a pedophile charge, and on his verse. So clearly, we're not done snitching on ourselves.
That's what I'm saying. You need a lawyer to go through your lyrics and make sure you're not incriminating yourself on anything that needs to, come out. And I don't know. She's making money off of this. He's making money off of this, or at least they're getting publicity. It's all part of the game. You know what I mean? Don't be mad at him. Don't even give it the attention. The best thing to do if you don't want to promote this is not give it attention. Don't give it the energy it doesn't deserve. That's what they want. What's the 6ix9ine kid? He making buttload of money, and people call him a snitch, right? And he shut down the YouTube when his first album came out.
Wow. I am not. I'm going to stop this old person rambling with the moment you called it the YouTube. Yeah, we're going to stop.
Fucking old man yelling at the clouds.
Mr. Crosby right now.
Mr. Crosby, considering that you are the biggest Tory Lanez fan I know, what were your thoughts on this album?
You don't know that you don't disclaimer that what Lucas just said doesn't happen to be true. Earth 2 does not support or condone Tory Lanez. Let me just put that out there.
I got podcasts on Earth 2 that say different.
I don't know what he's talking about. anyways, let's get into it. Bad move. Just bad move, not the worst move. We've seen worse. Worse has happened. The thing is, the thing with the Brianna thing, I think that happened to be coincidence, and I think people are gonna hop on that and they're gonna condemn him for that. That just happened to happen when it happened. I don't think he planned it that's when people keep saying, "Oh, he should have read through him and not dropped it." Then maybe if he knew it was going to happen, he'd be like, "All right, let's not." But
it just happens to be a Tory Lanez type of move. That's why he gets the slam.
Yeah. So I guess you could throw that out there, but. I listen to it so I can have an objective conversation. Yep. Mm-hmm. And that was the reason I listened to it. And honestly, I didn't like it. I didn't care for it because, again, a lot of what he was saying, according to Chris, was taking back accounts and events of what happened. Bro, you shot her. Own it. If a better move would have been him owning it and maybe apologizing for it, because there's no side of the story that has Tory Lanez looking good. There's no side of the story. There's no... If it's an apology that you're issuing, then it's that. But you saying on I think on the first song how you get shot in the foot, but it didn't hit any bones or tendons, and then in the other song he's accusing her of listening to his haters, and it just there's nothing that makes you look good here. So that's the bad move. Otherwise, as Anthony said, he's going to make money off this. Megan has been making a lot of she's in every editorial, every picture. Hold on.
Be concise with what you're saying. You just blurred that as if they're a duo. Megan makes money. You said he's gonna make money. Megan doing
motherfucker. Okay, I Cantina now and shit. God damn.
No. I'm saying this. I'm saying there's a point that was being made that they will both come up from this. Is that better? They're both going to come up from this event. And yes, for Megan, she deserves the come up. Tory doesn't necessarily deserve any come up from this. But it's unfortunate. It's the way the game is. Honestly, the entertainment game is kind of blurred. It's kind of messy because if anyone was serious about this, Tory Lanez should not be allowed any of what he's getting. If anyone really cared. Anthony said, hold on, that's the last thing. Anthony said, if you're going to run your mouth and condemn him, it's easier to just ignore the shit than to every day be so mad about it. Oh, fuck him. Just ignore him. And he'll go away.
Can I add something really quick? Now, I do mean this in all good taste. If this had been Tory Lanez and Ashanti, no one would be talking about this. At all.
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but you're right.
You're right.
Well, we've learned from this already from when that one fateful night years ago that Chris Brown beat Rihanna in a car. It's different when you attack someone either higher celebrity than you or equal celebrity.
Oh, actually, before we continue though, the biggest example, Jaguar Wright when she opened up about Common and the Roots. Funny fact. She opened up about the fact that there was some fucked up shit that happened like behind closed doors between Common and the Roots. Problem is, she started getting
Oh,
messy
really?
with the rumors. Yeah, she started getting messy about other celebs like Christopher
Yes,
Miller and
yes,
P. Diddy.
yes,
And then
Tevin
on top of
Campbell.
that, said something about Tevin Campbell, and now she's being sued. And I'm like, yeah, now your credibility.
She said that Mary J. Blige was selling snatch on the corner.
And that's the thing.
No one's paying attention to Jaguar right
and
now.
as soon as Tevin Campbell called her out on the lie, all the credibility from the other stuff is gone now. Like we don't know whether you're telling the truth. It's done.
I'm going to say there was no credibility at all.
No, but I'm saying whatever sliver of whatever hope that she had, it was gone as soon as Tevin Campbell called her
She'll
out.
get a book deal out of this, but
From
at that rate,
yeah. So
questionable.
But in
from what I know, what I've seen of her say is that she has some challenges, and so when people have challenges, they, even if there's some truth, when you have challenges like that and you start accusing everybody and lashing out, it makes it really hard for it to have any credibility, and it's a real shame. If something did happen, it's a real shame.
I would say it is a real shame if something really happened, but right now she is just losing all her marbles online and feeling the need to tell stories about every and anything humanly possible. But as it pertains to Tory and Meg, I think the key part is Black men not protecting Black women.
Facts.
That plays a huge role into this. I shouldn't see a video shoot with hundreds of men bigging up Tory Lanez and he shot a woman and we know he shot this woman. It makes it look disrespectful towards her. Now, every person deserves their day in court, and if he would like to fight it that way, that's perfectly fine. But dropping an album to fight it, it's tasteless, it's classless, it's stupid. It's something a punk would do. It's every bad adjective you can think of without having an ignition. Like, how you drop this album and not have an ignition? You got to have a hit song. He don't even have a hit song on this trash. So who's going to listen to it? Nobody. Only people paying attention to it is trolls online who want to troll Megan and bring this up over and over and over again. It's just kind of messed up that they're making this young woman live through this traumatic moment
over and over again,
over and over again, because they don't understand. Every time you spin his album, she's going through that trauma all over again, and that's something. Hopefully, it will get fixed. Hopefully, Mr. Lanez, if he will love to tell his side of the story. How about you do an interview with somebody? How about you fight it? No, because I don't believe in Canada. But
red table talk. Red table talk.
Nah.
You don't believe in Canada?
No, nobody needs to sit with Jada.
We don't want that. We don't want that.
No. Now, speaking of,
Jada's been rehabilitated, y'all. What y'all talking about?
I'm not doing this.
Let's not go there.
I'm gonna just quickly say I saw the video with Will and Jada as they were making fun of people who thought Will was sad during that whole entanglement thing. It is hilarious,
right?
And that's a very strong marriage, and I give them all praises due to Jada and Will, and hopefully they.
Key word on that one, Luke. Luke, you said it best, and nobody's talking about it. They have a strong marriage.
You can make up anything in a strong marriage.
If you're not married, you will never understand it.
Exactly.
I guarantee my folks will probably understand it, even though they've never done that. But they'll be like, "Yeah, I get it."
You don't know your parents. You don't know your parents.
No. What I'm saying is before we get to the Emmett Till thing, what I'm saying is married people.
You just gonna toss out the topic. It's not your show.
I'm trying to get the point.
Chris.
What I'm saying is married people have an idea of the insanity of certain things because they've seen other couples do crazy shit. So it's like, yeah, they have an idea of what the fuck is going on. I'm not married, so I'm looking at it like, this is fucking messy as shit. If I was married, maybe I might have a different perspective of it. Maybe there's a possibility. That's why I kind of don't err on the side of commenting on it. Other than it's just funny. I'm for the jokes. So
it wasn't messy between them. That's the thing people aren't understanding. Will is okay. Will is going to be okay. Will is always going to be okay. It's all right. Moving on.
Thank you, Ant. So, speaking of things being messy and confusing and everything else, this past weekend on Lovecraft Country, episode 8 decided to use the murder of Emmett Till as a subplot to a overreaching episode. Now, full disclosure here, all of us, all of us have outlets where we all review Lovecraft Country. Most of us saw this episode earlier before it launched for everyone else to see this episode. And we've been talking about this episode for a while. So I figure let's bring it to the table about our feelings about if they overstep. Well, Earth 2 don't get early access to nothing.
No, you said to the table. No, you said to the table. That's what I was talking about. I don't care about early access. I don't care about early access. I watch it when everybody watching. I still talk about it. What you trying to say me for?
Because you like the public.
You
like the public.
Fine. That's fine.
You like the public. It's fine.
Don't see me swearing for that shit.
Hey man, I'm just saying check out JVS for our review of Lovecraft Country.
And
but since you want to speak first, Mr. Crosby, let me ask you, what are your opinions on Lovecraft Country using Emmett Till as a subplot, and do you think they went too far in doing so?
What my beef with that episode and with Emmett Till was the fact that they tried to weave him into the show. One. The second, my actual beef, or where I think they crossed the line, was having that white woman reenact his death just for shock and awe, or having her try to live through it. That was the part they could have done without that. Having him in the episode, or having him brought up as a friend to Diana, right? Mm-hmm. I thought that was okay. You know, I thought, you know, that was fine in my opinion. That was okay and that was fine. But ultimately, having that white woman live his death and all that shit, yeah, fuck you for that. Yeah, seriously, fuck you for that part. That was the part where I was like, first of all, I didn't even like the episode. This episode sucked. Fuck them for that show. But that part of the episode, fuck them twice for that one, because I hated it. Sorry.
Wow. So, Mr. Powell, I'm speaking to someone who spoke a little bit more positively about the episode. What were your views on them possibly crossing the line?
What was the positive? You know,
I mean, not in the way that you think. Because trust me, I had an issue with it because how do you take a Easter egg in episode 3 and try to make it seem as though it was a consistent plot point,
bruh?
At no point in time
they never established a friendship. Thank you.
And that's what I'm saying. At no point in time did I feel that Diana had a friendship with the guy that would have made me at least care. And then you play Bananarama's Cruel Summer at the beginning, and it's like, and again, it speaks to one of the issues of the fact of it's the fucking 1950s. I'm pretty sure if you actually took 5 minutes to look through the catalog of 50s music, you can play an actual fucking song for that era and stuff. And I'm mad I didn't fucking catch that. So thank you, Mo, for putting that out there. I didn't pick up on the fact that Christina basically had to relive through what Emmett Till did, which again, that's a fucking middle finger to the fucking show, because you're trying to make it's like the chick already said it early in the episode. She does not fucking care, which I am glad that the show didn't go in the predictable route that Tyler Perry will probably do, where they would try to make it seem as though Christina feels some sort of empathy for that shit, which I'm glad the show didn't go in that direction. Thank you, God. But like, the fact that she laughed after that happened, that really emphasized she didn't give a fuck. So again, kudos to the show on that end, but like, I'm supposed to care. Like, bear in mind, I care about what happened to Emmett Till, but at the same time, the fact that the show did it so overtly like that, it's like, come on, guys. Like, really? Like, it's like putting MLK's death in a fucking show just because, you know, it's like, come on, guys. Like, you didn't even establish that MLK had friendship with any of these characters. What are we doing? Like, come on. Like, you know. If they just said it if the episode was they mentioned it in passing, that would have been fine. But when you did a full-blown funeral, it's like, really? Okay, I guess, man. Whatever.
Now, speaking next, my registered therapist, who should be able to break this down. And what are your views on?
Oh, that's a lot of hype.
Seriously, a lot of
hype. So look, this is my problem with Lovecraft Country. As a whole, their writing style and letting things breathe and paying off stuff. They have no really. They don't know what two shows they want to be, whether it's a horror show or talking about oppression and the conditions of Black folks in these areas. And I think that they handle it very clumsily. And I think that this is another example of it. If if you had made Emmett Till a part of the show going up to this point, or even a recurring factor in these episodes, that might have meant something more. But it didn't. I did catch the barbed wire thing around her throat, and it was just in poor taste. I feel like I think there's a lot of good things that could make a good show here, but they don't. And it's really, this show is just really revenge porn. I don't know if you guys have gotten that yet, but it's a revenge porn show, and that's and it's sad. It's sad, and I also feel like we can't have real conversations. Have y'all tried to have conversations about how this show isn't really working at places on different, like in different mediums?
No,
I was called a coon in a YouTube section of our review,
as
so
a
that
matter
should
of
tell
fact,
you.
yeah,
That
as
should
a matter
tell
of
you
fact,
exactly how it's viewed.
that happened to us too. So fuck it. I don't care about this show.
It's not really good writing. It's really not. And I think sometimes performances get it over, and I think some situations that people didn't know about but now are getting exposed to, like I always go back to the sundown towns, right? A lot of people didn't know what that was until this show. It's the Watchmen moment of seeing Black Wall Street get destroyed. If you didn't know, this is shocking to you. This is great television and writing, but it's not. It's them putting history into a show and then trying to warp horror around it, and it's done clumsily and really respectfully. If I have to, it felt that way to me, right? But I know some people that love the show and love that it's exposing certain things. I think we're in an era where writing a good story is now like third in the hierarchy of just of saying a cause or a topic. And it historically, this might mean something later on, but it's a terribly written show. It just really is, and I wish it was better. I hope it gets better in a second season or something like that. So I know that's not the breakdown you were wanting for, but that's my overall opinion.
Hey, it's close enough. And Najir, what are your thoughts on this past episode?
Wait, so to be politically correct here, you said outlets who get this early and review it. That will be false because
we already know. Me and you did the 5-episode review of Lovecraft, and that was it.
Yeah, at this point now, I watch it just for background noise. I'm not even going. I can't even tell you enough to even give you the mildest review for this. But I did watch that scene because it caught my eye, and I don't know which one of y'all said it, but like I think it was Chris. But like the Emmett Till Easter egg was hella cool, and it went viral, and it got a lot of people invested. But like, while there was like did y'all know who that was? Here's the background information on it and how that worked into the story. Then they're like, wait, he's a recurring character? Okay. And then my biggest discrepancy was like, is this an anthology or is it not? So
Bruh, man, fuck
I
this.
couldn't even get through the show in a level mindset to try to give it any type of critiquing if it crossed the line or not. I watched it for just pure entertainment. Now I watch it at the same rate I watch something like on Fox. Like I love 911, but I do not watch 911 to say I need to know all the storylines, what's happening. It's just it's pure entertainment to me. It could be bad, it could be good. I wouldn't know what to say afterwards. I'm like, all right, well that's off, and I think I'm done for the day. So
that's all.
I don't know, but I will say this in a sense to being sensitive to everybody else's feeling. If people are feeling negative about the things that are happening in it that are triggering, then I think they need to set the tone early, which this is the episode 8. So you're way past your point of saying what is the direction we're going on here. When I first watched Lovecraft in the very beginning, I was like, okay, cool. They're doing some witchcraft shit, stuff. So like supernatural and then it's like, okay, so I don't really need to see how the episodes connect. They're anthology. Oh wait, they do connect, but at the same time, they're still kind of jumping around a little. And you could just take whatever you want from out of each episode and go from there. But now it's like, well, you had to really pay attention to 3 in order to get what's happening in 8 and 3 and 4, and I think it was like 6, like supposed to have connected. Like it's really. It's not complicated writing. It's just the idea of they're not knowing what they exactly want to do. And I will say this, like wholeheartedly, it may not even be their fault. This may be HBO's fault in saying like, shit, we need something for the African American community. Yo, scramble, whatever you can do, get it on the cutting board, get it out, they're gonna follow it. Matter of fact, let's make sure we shove it down all their throats and make sure they really love it and support it, to the idea that they're oblivious to if this is even good or not. Because there's no one that can say up and down the board that this is a top tier show. It has so many discrepancies, from toning to their direction, and then truly, what's their audience? Are you just looking for black people? I mean, that's easy, but like, are you looking for?
That seems to be it.
Yeah,
that really seems to be their target.
Are you going for historians? Are you trying to pull like this? Are you going for supernatural fans? Are you looking for?
They're not.
No, they on a huge whiteboard. Somebody just said coloreds.
Yeah,
and they
wow.
Said, that's our.
I mean, and that's the weird part. If I had to draw a line here, because it's funny. People, I've seen a lot of people, especially in my circles, they love Lovecraft Country, and hey, look, like what you like, right? They'll turn around and look at Black Lightning and feel that Black Lightning is doing the same shit that we're complaining about with Lovecraft Country. And I kind of sit back like, but Black Lightning knows what it is, right?
Right.
Like it knows its audience, it knows what it is. To be honest, I think on a basic level, a lot of people like Black Lightning because the fucking cast is lovable as fuck.
Yes.
You know, we love them. We love each and every one of them and stuff. So that plays a factor into, even if you have a mediocre episode of Black Lightning, you're like, well, I enjoyed it because these characters are great and these actors are making you care. And I don't.
Quick disclaimer: we all have interviewed these people, and they are really, really nice people.
Yeah, and I mean, and it's like even if you took us out the equation of not interviewing them and stuff, you kind of get an idea. They have some charisma about them where you get that. Now, there might be that for Lovecraft Country for at least two of the actors and actresses, but it's just, I don't know. That's kind of.
Can I add something? Can I add something that on principle that you should have probably brought up in that is that they both got source material. And and it's crazy how one says, well, we're going to utilize that, and the other one's like, well, I think we're going to utilize it. Don't
you know
use
what?
it.
You're right. You know what? You're 100% right. You know, yeah, you're right. I keep forgetting that because Black Lightning is using their source material. So you know what? You are 100% right. I don't know why.
And that right now is the key issue for Lovecraft Country. It's a great book with racial tension in it, great moments in it, and they have decided that they are just going to chop it up and let the cards lay, and then they're going to add story, then take away story, make a character gay here, make a man here, have white people transform into black people transform into white people. It's a show that wants to be everything to everyone, and when you do that, you tend to lose everyone. Now, my biggest issue with this episode was just the Emmett Till portion of it. That's it. I believe the rest of the episode is pretty entertaining. I love the things they had Diana going through. I think that was the best part of the episode, and I would have loved to see an entire episode with just that. It would have been very entertaining.
She was a good episode, but this is episode 8, and you can't do it without Tick at this point. You've done two episodes where Tick doesn't matter. And my problem with this show is when you put Tick into it, it falls flat. When you had the Korean episode without the parts where he wasn't in it before he came into it, it was pretty good or pretty okay. And then you had on Hippolyta's episode before.
That was good no matter what.
No. Well, I'm just saying when Tick isn't the central person on the show, I think it does well. I think they don't know what to do with their lead character. They don't know what, and it might be because they're not going with the book or going how the book.
Well, I think part of it is because I think part of the issue is because they are following the book in the sense of the way
with the lead
Tick is. He may be he's part of an ensemble in the book. Yes, he's could be considered the main character, but he's not. It's just that it's a bunch of other characters that people care about.
So they're making him the lead for the show.
He's not
the biggest issue.
He's not the main
Lovecraft
character in this show. Letty's the star. Yeah. Letty's the star of this show so far. Like
Letty is not even. That's not even the Letty. That's not even a Letty from the book. I think the biggest issue is with Lovecraft Country is that they got some great actors together.
Yes.
Some great, even though I may disagree some great behind the scene people together. And at times when you get two great things together, you can still make a shit project. And that's what this is. Lovecraft Country is a shit project, but it's a project that it's catering to a group of people who aren't necessarily used to these type of shows being catered to them.
Can I say something really quick? I know we got like no time.
Good point, Lucas.
How many shows recently have done really
that.
good that they've been red lighted for season 2s already? I'm just wondering, where has Lovecraft season 2 been announced yet?
Well, here's the problem though. No one ever said that this show was supposed to even get a season 2.
I'm just saying, but like most shows that do really good and is
and Lovecraft is not doing great in the ratings. It's not doing bad in the ratings. It's not doing great in the ratings. But it's serving an underappreciated audience, and I think that's why some of us feel protected. Oh, that's why some black people feel protective of this show.
Right. Sure. And that's a good point, Lucas, because it's kind of like all this stuff is like old hat to us, right? We've watched anime and horror movies and sci-fi and stuff like that. There's a lot of audience that wouldn't watch any of this stuff if it wasn't a black cast. So this might be blowing people's minds. It's kind of like when we watched Doctor Strange, right? And everybody talking about how great Doctor Strange was, but that one part when he's going through the psychic realm or whatever, right? Or all different planes of existence, and it's like, yeah, that's cool, but that's nothing new to us. But the mainstream audiences, that blew their mind. So maybe that's the same thing that's going on right here, is that you have a bunch of audiences that never paid attention to this horror fantasy genre of like Lovecraftian horror, and these little tidbits are so like, oh wow, what is this kind of thing?
Yeah, it's blowing their minds. And I don't blame them for letting it blow your minds. To me, if you like the show, just support the show. We are rooting for everything that's black, even stuff that's bad and black. So if this is what you want to see, enjoy it. Just understand that everyone's not going to agree with you. A person like me, personally, I was offended by this last episode, but I'm offended by the series altogether because I love the book and I'm watching them destroy the book. Now,
but you're like that with every Stephen King movie, though.
See, cut his mic.
Oh no!
There you go. We will not. Yes, I did. Yes, we did cut his mic. We will not let Motar Hamed Crosby in this episode of the Rundown. I'd like to thank Motar, Ant, Chris, and Najir for rocking with me on this episode over Melania Trump's internet. We had a great time. Catch you people next week.